Yo, yo, yo. A lot of y'all probably sitting back watching this video and asking yourself, what the hell is this? And honestly, I've been trying to figure that out myself. For those that don't know me, my name's Rel Mack. And throughout the years on my Instagram stories, I would post content such as maybe like an album review, hip hop content, this album dropped on this day, maybe recap, or just pinpoint how a certain issue uh, or a hip hop beef may have started, or maybe even like subliminal shots that you guys may have missed. I would also do things such as like story time, where I would share stories about myself and or my friends and post that information on my Instagram stories. Um, that is no longer. A good friend of mine, comedian Mike Murphy, he's been telling me for years, maybe 2, 3 years, that I needed to stop putting that information on my IG stories and create a channel for all of that content to live. Um, just like we all know, Instagram stories, they disappear in 24 hours. So here, all of that content can live here where you guys can maybe rewatch the videos, like, dislike, leave a comment, debate in the comments, whatever you choose to do, share it. I don't care. But all of that information is going to be housed here on this channel. Little brief history as to why these three artists are behind me. Anybody that knows me knows Jay's my favorite rapper. As you can tell by the shirt, Sean, Ty, Dame, Emery, and Kareem, everybody that started Rockefeller. Um, but I remember as a kid how I became a fan of Jay, which was through a Foxy Brown video. The video was called Al B. Um, I believe this video came out in maybe like 97 or 98. So I was born in 87. So if the video came out in 97 or 98, I was either 10 or 11 years old. But I remember watching the video and just saying to myself, like, yo, dude's cool. Like, who is he? So I was just trying to, find out who he was, through, older guys in the neighborhood, just trying to figure out like who this dude was. But I remember I used to travel to go live with my dad every summer. Well, not every summer, but from like ages like 13, 14, and 15, I would live with my dad, his wife, and my two older brothers. And we would religiously watch The Streets is Watching on VHS cassette. Like we watched it so much that it was like became like part of our like daily routine. It was like our Bible. Like we would watch it over and over to the point we knew what song was next, what video was next. Every time Dane would say some funny shit, like we just knew it front and back. So that it was like around that time is when I became a huge fan of Jay. Um, Nipsey's behind me. I remember, I believe it was like 2012. A good friend of mine, E Man, shout out to E, came over my house one day and he jumped on my laptop. I think we were getting ready for a party or something. He jumped on my laptop and just started playing music. And he asked me, he was like, "Hey, you ever hear of Nipsey?" And I was like, "I heard of him, but I don't really know who he is. I never paid him much attention." He was like, "All right, bet." And he started playing the marathon tape. But the first song he played was the intro song, which was called Love. And I remember like the bar that kind of like made me like raise the eyebrow and say like who is he? The Nipsey line was built my own lane, ain't no nigga ever hand me shit. And I heard that and it just resonated with me because I was like, I kind of carved my own way throughout life. No one has ever given me anything. So when he said that, it just like stood out to me. And ever since that day, I've been a Nip fan. So shout out to E. Um, Pusha T's on this wall here, just like any millennial that grew up in the late '90s, early 2000s. We all were fans of the Clips, trying to make the beat on the lunch tables, everything. But I remember I specifically became a Pusha T fan um, during the Re-Up Gang Volume 2 mixtape, where him and the crew, they freestyled over the Joel Santana Mic Check instrumental. And I remember the specific line that stood out was niggas is biters. We let you slide with your writing. We knew that cocaine talk was not like ya, but who goes as far as trying to dress like 'em? One sequence glove can never make you Michael. I moonwalk over tracks and make niggas spiteful, but never hear a word because them niggas know. And I sat back and I was like, yo, he is smoking this shit right now. But that was like, and of course, if you didn't know, that was a shot to Lil Wayne, the whole Mr. Me Too era, and we could get into that in later videos. But that's why Pusha's on this wall. Um, Also, the reason behind the name cultural currency. Of course, we're going to be discussing hip hop culture, fashion, music, whatever it is, anything surrounding us in the culture. And the currency part of the title comes from me dropping off my 2 cents in hopes that you leave with something. So tie it all together, cultural currency. Um, so yeah, no more Instagram stories. Everything will be housed here on this channel. And I hope y'all enjoy, man. Cultural currency.